podcast with Jenny and Jimin. This is the Noonas podcast with Jenny and Jimin.
Dual set.
Heart to heart. Noonas podcast Media.
Welcome back to another episode of the Noonas podcast. As always, with your hosts Jenny and Ginny.
Yo. Hello.
We are back. Sorry for our little break here. We had just had some scheduling inconsistencies, unfortunately, because this is
a lot of shit for me. Like, so busy in life.
I'm busy too. I mean, people still need medications, unfortunately, but yay for side hustles. This is our side hustle. So what can we say? I mean, it's a fun side hustle, though. I mean, we love talking about this as much as we can. So sharing the fun K-pop news and reviews and other shenanigans, I guess, going on from Korea. So as well as just, anything basically kind of Korean related. But this week is going to be kind of a different week for us because we don't have any reviews this week, strangely.
No, we do not.
We have a ton of news because since we've been off mic and since we're recording today, today is the 9th of February. I know what day it is.
You're 1 day behind.
A lot of news has broken in K-pop. So we have a lot of news to cover, from record labels getting acquired by other labels, groups disbanding, COVID breaking, idols getting booked by the police. Breaking news literally today. We're all over the book today. A major comeback being announced as well. So we're going to get into all of that, as well as, because this was kind of a popular thing from last year. So we thought we'd bring it back again just in time for Valentine's Day 2022. We're going to go ahead and re-update our thought playlist just in time for the holiday, just to get on more of the sexier side of K-pop. And this year, I think we're going to kind of break it down into some subcategories. Ginny did a great job kind of breaking it down. So
we'll explain to you the spectrums of each Hoe Anthem, for this K-pop Valentine's playlist.
Exactly, and it should be fun.
Enjoy. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy our next selections for this year.
Because we got a lot of fun selections all over the board this year, so it should be fun. But let's get into this because like I said, we have a ton of news to get to. So
the Noonas 24-hour news report.
I mean, I wonder if at this point I should just start putting all the breaking stuff up on our Facebook and our Twitter. We should probably start putting our stuff on Facebook and Twitter. I know we put a couple of this stuff up on Facebook and Twitter
on Facebook,
when it broke. But yeah, I mean, it's been a lot. So let's get into the first thing that broke, basically, almost a couple days after we recorded our last episode. And that's being the label DSP Media being acquired by Rainbow Bridge World, aka RBW, which is the record label that is the home to Mamamoo, the record label to One Us,
Purple Kiss,
and Purple Kiss as well. And to note, this isn't the first label that RBW has acquired from. This is actually the second one now, because they previously acquired WM Entertainment, I think late last year, which has some other groups, has I think On and Off, as well as Oh My Girl, and a few other groups under that under WM Entertainment. So RBW is trying to kind of hop on, I think, almost like the hype train here.
There's a lot of news about label just acquiring another smaller label. It's been happening these past years. Hype being the biggest one,
right?
Being able to do that.
Yeah,
there's there's rumors about SM. I don't know if they're going to be buying or acquiring another label, or they're going to be acquired, because there was this rumor about SM being acquired by Hive, which is like such a crazy thing. Like, oh shit, that would be like as the K-pop equivalent of like, like Disney buying out, 20th Century Fox is like that type of big. Like, what
Pretty
the
much.
hell, man?
Yeah, that would be that the internet would break. The K-pop internet would break if that would happen. But I mean, and I don't think SM's losing that much money. I know SM has been kind of hemorrhaging money a little bit, but I don't think they're losing that much money.
Yeah, I think they're improving though with like their groups so far like these past years. But yeah.
If NCT's anything, well, hopefully NCT's had an amazing year, but like it's like NCT and SPA like have been like the breadwinners, and because obviously EXO's in the military currently, like those are their main like groups currently in SM. So, but this acquisition for RBW is kind of interesting. So basically, it was announced on the 26th of January that RBW acquired a controlling share, so 51% of DSP Media, and therefore DSP is going to become a subsidiary under RBW. So groups that are currently under DSP Media are groups such as CARD, which is one of my favorite co-ed groups.
Yes, this is probably the only co-ed group like existing maybe.
Yeah. Currently co-ed group that's like out there right now. They're kind of on hiatus right now because JSF's still in the military, although he does get out towards the end of the year. So I'm hoping that means there's stuff for CARD coming towards like the end of the year. Cause I know BM's been doing a ton of solo work as of late. Right. I think he just dropped another solo track actually not that long ago. Also under RBW or under DSP is Mirai, their newest group that just debuted. Who I do have been liking a lot of their stuff. They also do have a soloist known as Hoe Youngji. So they do have a few groups and solo artists under their label. They also were the home of the group April, which, if you remember back when we had I don't know what Bullygate, I guess, last winter, early spring. Because it's kind of around like this time.
It was last year. The Bullygate.
Yeah, it was like late February, early March when Bullygate started. Because it was right around when Kingdom was about to come out. I remember that because that's when Hyunjin had to go on hiatus from Stray Kids because he unfortunately got involved in that whole situation. And but I know April was one of the groups that really got dragged under the spotlight for that. With some of the allegations that some of the members of April was bullying one of the former members, I think it was Hanju, because I believe it was supposed that her brother came out online and was talking about how the members of April were bullying her and really making her life miserable, and it was evolving into such like a major legal battle and stuff. Well, it was officially
which Hanjo did Hanjo like kind of admit that like I was bullied because because I think like DSP at one time tried to like sue her for like defamation or like she's not telling the truth. So there was like a legal battle between the DSP and her now.
Yeah, and between other members too, because like Naeun was like putting in like a defamation, but then she eventually like recanted that. Mm-hmm. She like just recanted that. I think that the like beginning of this year, like the defamation, legal action and stuff. So like there's just been a lot of like legal back and forth with this.
A lot of crazy things, like even some decisions that like this kind of like questionable because even April, like during the accusations came about, they were willing to like do an interview and just to like say like no, we're not like we're not the bullies here, we're the real victims here. So it's like was it really necessary for you to like come out there and do that, all of those? It's really crazy. Like they were really out and about like trying to like insist that they're not the ones, the perpetrators. So it's really kind of hard to like believe like who to side on because it's such a like she said kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just a lot of back and forth, and it was really messy because it was like everyone was getting dragged through the mud, and it was just a really messy situation because it was one of the messier allegations that came through during Bullygate, and it's still in legal like litigation. Like a lot of this stuff is still going through legal litigation between the I guess formerly DSP and April, but it was announced on the 28th, so literally 2 days after DSP was acquired by RBW. that April is disbanding.
Right.
And basically, like, from what I can see from like fan comments, it's kind of like, well, it's obviously there's a lot of controversy with this disbandment too, because obviously there's still a lot of legal issues with this whole bullying scandal and just how everything was handled by DSP Media, and just how where the situation has ended. Because I mean, basically April hasn't had a comeback since 2020, because basically their 2021 got trashed with this whole scandal. And it's a mess. But I wonder if like RBW like acquired DSP and like knew like they had to cut ties with this mess from April.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
like
quite
just
sure
in
like
order
how
to
much
like
the
clean up
influence,
their image.
like yeah, I don't know, like we couldn't say if RBW had a say in in this situation, but it couldn't have come at a perfect time when like when RBW like announced that they'll be acquiring DSP, and at the same time, oh, April's gone. So it's just it's very it's a very interesting like thing how it how they're announcing things like last week.
Yeah, it just seems it's a fairly convenient timing on it. It just seems
Right.
really, really convenient. And it's kind of interesting too, because I was reading in some history of DSP Media, and the thing is, like back I'm talking way back, like generation 1 of K-pop, so like way in the beginning times of K-pop. DSP was like one of like the agencies to be at. Like they were actually
like
on the
Sexies
forefront.
And Aura, as one of their like their former like but very famous like K-pop groups back then.
Yeah, Fin KL too was another popular group that was managed by DSP Media. So like they had some very, very popular groups under their label. Heck, I think they were on par with SM Entertainment.
Really?
Going back to our SM Entertainment back in the day. And I think it was because of because basically because SM, and I was reading and I was actually watching a video. I watched DK TV on YouTube occasionally for some of my news, just to get some news occasionally, and get some Korean perspective on things too. I take it with a grain of salt, guys. I know there's some issues with them sometimes on occasion, but I do take it with a grain of salt. But I know for them, for DSP Media, the way they had their organization structured, it was the CEO doing all the control, and then he passed away in 2010, and then his wife took over, who really had like no management experience, especially in entertainment. And I think that's kind of when they started kind of going on the downfall a little bit. So I think that's kind of why DSP just kind of fell as it did. And I know a lot of people have really screamed about how underutilized Card is in terms of like in the K-pop. Like they are an amazing group. Like I have a friend who is a huge friend of Card, and I think they're severely underrated. I know they've had a minor controversy too, because I think one of their members got dragged into Bullygate as well. One of the female members did. I can't remember which female member got dragged into some bullying allegations as well, but like I said, Card's been kind of quiet as of late because of JSF being in the military. But he's the only member who has to be in the military. And then they can come back and start promoting again. So I'm hoping maybe being under RBW, they can promote better. And I'm hoping for Mirai, like being such a new group too, this is a good opportunity for them. I mean, obviously we know Mamamoo is an immensely successful group. I think Purple Kiss is getting looks at, and it'll be interesting now to see what's going to happen now that RBW has basically three labels under their umbrella. Because it sounds like it's almost like what they're doing with Hybe, where it's still the companies like having their names and still being their own like subsidiaries, but it's all managed under RBW. So they'll have like more of like a collective thing, kind of like Hybe does. So like Hybe like kind of leaves like Pledis to do their own thing, and leaves I'm trying to think of the other agencies that Hybe has acquired, because they've acquired a couple other ones, but Pledis is like the big one that they've acquired. And so
Pledis.
It'll be very interesting just to kind of see what the future DSP Media is going to be like, considering like they've had a major fall from grace, and to see, and especially with the whole April mess. to see where it goes from there. But, I think, them cutting ties with April is probably a good thing, especially with all the legal issues.
Yeah, they just don't want to be like associated with that kind of drama as well.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the good image that RBW's pretty much had, because I don't think there's really been any issue. There's really hasn't been any scandals I've seen with Mamamoo, or even with One Us or One We. Like if there is a quote unquote scandal, it's a really dumb scandal. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like one of those scandals that used to drag up for it's
so petty. It's like, just like so minimal. It's like, oh.
Usually, I feel like half the time, some of the scandals brought up that's related to Mamamoo is something Hawasa's said or done, because people like to pick on Hawasa for whatever reason, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Hawasa, because she has like the different type of standard Korean women. It's just, it's really petty. But other than that, now that RBW has acquired DSP, when are we gonna get some creative collaboration between Mamamoo or Card or even One Us or Mirai? So
that would be very
that
interesting.
Could happen. Yeah, because how Anthems doing their own super group, and I'm kind of wishing that Hybe could follow suit. That could be a bigger collab with Hybe. So it'll be interesting to see if RBW could do the same thing.
Because we've kind of seen some of it with Hybe a little bit, because we've seen them release. I've seen Tomorrow Together and Hyphen be doing some collabs together. They've done some stage collabs, but I'd be cool to see some members of BTS working with members of 17. That would be a dream collab for me.
That would be huge.
That would be amazing, because those are two relatively big their generation groups collabing together, and that actually do relatively self-produce quite a bit of their stuff. Obviously they have some help with their producers, but they still have a lot of their hands in the pot when they are producing their music. So that would be really interesting to see. But I don't know, maybe with all these acquisitions, it would be interesting. There's also a con to it too, that it's so bad for all the small companies, the KQs of the world that are still kind of just sit there nervously, are they going to get acquired? Because I'm a little nervous, because I feel like KQ's, which is the label ATEEZ is under, that has been doing pretty good by themselves, and I don't think they need to be acquired by a bigger company.
Who do you think if they would in scenario? Who do you think would get KQ?
Oh,
who's your dream acquisition power?
Geez. If KQ got bought out by a company, not that would ever happen, because I feel like KQ is actually investing toward the future, because it sounds like they have a trainee program and stuff now. Thank you, Hongjoon. Because there's the trainees apparently came out to the show in LA for ATEEZ. But if that happened, I wonder if it would go to either Hybe or JYP. I don't know why. One of those
with
two.
JYP, it sounds really I
think JYP would be too controlling, because
their,
basically
their production.
Yeah, I don't think the production, I wonder if it might go to Hybe, because it'd have some more independence, because again, all of ATEEZ stuff is done by Edenary, so it's they kind of are self-sufficient in themselves. So I don't know, it would be very interesting. And then it just sucks for them, these other smaller companies too, but that they kind of have to watch their back, because I definitely like supporting the groups that come from the smaller companies, because everyone just always likes to look at the big three. Well, I guess big four now.
Big four. It's gonna be such a lot of there's not gonna be a big three anymore with K-pop, because there's a lot of things that it's a growing label, as well as the acquisitions that that might be taking in place. So
so, but I guess speaking of another big four agency, and I guess talking about one of the bigger ones, and because we're going to actually go into our next story here, because we're going to talk. We have one of our two COVID stories we have to talk about. And this one kind of sucked, because this kind of sucked when this broke on the 31st. I know armies were I'm not gonna lie, they're this is the worst timing in the terms of getting COVID and then getting appendicitis at the same time too.
At the same time, that was a double whammy of not getting the diagnosis. This is
yeah. But it was announced that Jimin from BTS unfortunately got COVID and appendicitis at the same time. He
well, he's the
apparently
fourth member. He's the fourth member to get, like COVID positive. The first one being RM, Jin, and then Suga. Like in the last couple of months ago.
Yeah, I mean, well, we haven't had a COVID positive test, I think, at BTS in like a month, because I think Suga's was when he was flying back right around Christmas, I think. Yeah, it was right around Christmas, because it sounded like he tested positive. Like he tested before he left the country, before he left the United States, because he stayed, I think, in the U.S. the longest out of any of the members of BTS, because they basically all. Because if you all remember, BTS is currently on hiatus right now. They're kind of taking a break, wilding up on Instagram for the love of God. But then and so I know Suga was like in the States for the longest. So he was, I think, in the States until like almost like mid-December, and then, or really close to Christmas. But then he, I think, tested negative when he got on the plane. But then when he got back to Korea, I think he actually tested positive. So I think he either got COVID on the plane, or he just, finally manifested at that point or something too. I'm not 100% sure, because COVID is a funny thing. But yeah, no, Jimin is unfortunately the fourth member out of the 7 who's gotten COVID in like the last 2 months for them. He went to the hospital on the 31st because he's complaining of like sudden stomach pains and a mild sore throat. And they did the test, and it's like, well, yeah, no, you have COVID. And then on top of that, you have mild appendicitis. So we're just going to go ahead and do the appendectomy right away and let you recover in the hospital from both the appendectomy and COVID. And so from it sounded like everything went really, really well. He's doing good. He was finally discharged, I think, on the 5th of February.
5th of February.
Yeah. All cleared. He recovered very well. He recovered from COVID. But it just, the timing, time, because I mean, like going through COVID sounds like it's rough enough. I haven't had COVID yet. Luckily, I've thankfully been shot. I've finally got my 2 shots, and I've been boosted. Get your shots, everybody. This is the Noonas podcast saying, go get your COVID shots.
Stop driving around with you in your trucks.
She's saying to go stop driving around those damn trucks in Canada. But I've gone through appendectomy. I did have my appendix taken out back in like almost 7 years ago. And yeah, I mean, having surgery sucks. So yeah, I mean, even though it's like, it's a pretty, minimally invasive surgery because it's all done laparoscopically now, but it still sucks, because there's all the stitches and everything you have to deal with. And I can't imagine, like, hopefully he wasn't coughing or anything too, because I could just imagine that just being the absolute worst. Although they kind of do force you to cough so you don't get like pneumonia just sitting in bed. But no, I'm just happy to hear that he's recovered well, and hopefully he's, going to get better. And hopefully the other 3 members of BTS, I'm hoping that J-Hope, V, and Jungkook all don't get COVID. Although, right.
And plus, they might be starting their comeback soon, like, for this year. But hopefully there's no other like difficulties that's going to happen with them.
Well, I know their next thing that's on the table is going to be their Seoul concert in March, although there hasn't been any details announced, but we know, because they did hint at the end of Permission Dance Day 4 in LA, that we see you in Seoul in March. So there is supposed to be a concert happening in March in Seoul. And it sounds like there will be probably an album coming after that, maybe, potentially. We don't know. It's just all rumors at this point, but
yeah. They did say they're going to have a comeback, but they didn't confirm like when exactly.
Right.
Like, I think it'll be
I think they've confirmed a comeback, and I think they also confirmed that I think in their shareholders meeting, I think they confirmed a world tour. I know they confirmed a world tour for 17 during their shareholders meeting for Hype, but I don't know if they confirmed one for BTS. But we'll see. Because I can only imagine that this would be the last hurrah for them to do a world tour before Jin has to be enlisted, because they can't postpone that any further. Because he's literally turning 30 at the end of this year. and the cutoff date for him is now 30, and then Suga turns 30 early 2023. So like they have to get it done. So like, or they have to enlist. So we'll see what happens with that. I guess. But speaking of enlistment, and speaking of other COVID related issues, other COVID news, enlistment. This is all related with SF9. I'm just kind of lumped these two stories together because it's all revolving around SF9. Because my head just spun with this story. And then I just love how the fact they just kind of slapped Ensemble enlistment news, just kind of like, oh yeah, he's enlisting very soon. Anyway, but the bigger story, I guess, with SF9 was that back on the 27th of January, it was announced by the police, by the Seoul Metropolitan Police. Yes, the Seoul Metropolitan Police, that SF9 members Hooyoung and Chani, who are the two youngest members of SF9, were booked as well as 13 other people for breaking the set curfew due to COVID. It was revealed that they were out drinking at an establishment at 1 a.m. whereas
1 a.m.
the curfew where the curfew currently is 9 p.m. I don't know if they've dropped the curfew because I know Omicron cases are starting to decline around the world, but I'm not sure if they've dropped that curfew as of late. But they were
like the bar or like the establishment, was allowed them to stay and then lock the doors, so no one could get in for them to have fun or have their own little shindig, past
little
one
party.
Yeah.
So and this was back on January 18th. So like obviously it wasn't because the police reported this back on the 27th, but this happened back on January 18th. So this has been almost a month now since this happened. But yeah, it was announced that basically the doors were locked and they had locked the doors and they were out drinking, and it was obviously Chani, Hooyoung, like some of their some of their friends and acquaintances, and then some of the establishment staff.
Who were also booked for, who were allowing them to do this in the first place. So they were also booked too for breaking the curfew.
Yeah, for breaking curfew. So, because basically it was announced. Basically because FNC had to come out and make a statement because, I mean, your members were, booked by the police and taken into custody and, got fined for breaking curfew because of COVID times. And basically the statement of FNC put out stated that they were, after their scheduled activities, Hooyoung and Chani were contacted by a friend of Chani for Chani's birthday, and they decided to go to a Hold'em pub in the neighborhood of Nanhyun, and then they were questioned for violating disease control regulations. So, and basically the statement goes on saying, we apologize. We expect the deepest apologies for, for being inattentive about managing our artists with no room for excuses. Because it's like, they said Hooyoung and Chani were careless and deserving of criticism, which I'm not going to lie, there's been a lot of members of SF9 who've been deserving of criticism with some of their statements regarding COVID as of late.
But I forgot about that with
Rowan's not getting vaxxed because his schedule was too busy.
I don't think he meant to be that into that type of context, but with with Hooyoung and Chani, that was really intentional. They should have known better, with those two.
Right. I know. You also know better because this is not the first time that they've had the 9 p.m. curfew. The 9 p.m. curfew's been instated a few times because of COVID. Yeah. And it's because it's not just bars, but it's restaurants as well. You can't have anybody in the restaurant after 9 p.m. just because they're trying to limit people being out and limiting small groups. I mean, not the fact of the matter is the fact that they were out after 9. The fact that there was 15 people out too. it's kind of like mind-boggling because it's like that's even breaking like the small group like law or like the rule that they have too for COVID, because I think they've been wanting to like limit groups to like 10 or less or 5 or less. I can't remember which one now because of Omicron. And like that's just like it just boggles my mind. It's like y'all could just gone back to somebody's apartment and drank for Chinese birthday. Like that's y'all could have just done that. And then nobody would have gotten booked by the police. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much dumbassery.
Like, deliver your beer at home.
Right? Just go grab a couple 6-packs and go back to your apartment
and drink. Uber or like Uber Eats or something like that in Korea. Just do that.
Right? I've heard their delivery in Korea is like amazing. So
yeah. Like common sense. Like use common sense.
Right. So it just blows my mind. And then like I love there's people were trying to actually defend them on like social media, and I'm just like
they don't need to be defended. Like they should have known better. No. Like they're a grown,
exactly.
Like, 20-something years old. This. Yeah.
You're all in your mid-20s. Y'all should know better.
Yeah,
what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, even they had to like they've been forced to like write their apologies too, which is typical thing for K-pop idols whenever they get like into like a messy situation, like have to write up like their
handwritten note. The handwritten note on Instagram. I'm sorry, I will reflect on my actions, that kind of thing. Yeah.
They have like a template. I'm sorry for blank, 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 blank. I will reflect on blank, blank, blank. Sorry, blank, blank.
It feels like it. It really does feel like it. Oh my God. Yeah, it's because apparently I read according to police reports, like both the police and the fire department had to come and break down the block door.
Yeah, they had to like break in. Yeah, which is
when it's even worse in my mind. So
why am I thinking this as like a comedic like shitty situation with those two, like those like stupid characters, and then like doing something stupid during a pandemic, and then like here police. What are you guys doing?
I hope all their friends basically like call them out on it too, on their private social media, on their private like messages, and be like, you two are stupid. You know what I mean? I really hope so. But like the other SF9 members, like, some of their drama friends, because I know they both have been involved in a lot of drama, like a lot of K dramas and stuff, like especially Chani, because Chani's a really actually relatively like, because he was a child actor before he was a member of SF9. He's also been in a couple other pretty major K dramas. Sky Castle is one of them. And like I hope it's like some of their like friends have called them out and be like, you two are dumb as hell. So because I would have, I'm like, you two are really dumb. I would have called their asses out.
So if I do something stupid or like break the curfew, break the curfew in here in Edmonton, you're gonna call me out. What have you done? Yeah. What have you done?
Dumbasses.
Disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Exactly. Pretty much. I'm not angry. I'm just really disappointed.
So disappointed that like one of the members said like, you know what, I'm out for that. I'm going out. I'm going out.
No.
I'm going out to enlist.
I'm getting out and enlisting in the military. No, I just that's funny. No, I don't think that was Insung's reason, but no, it was announced though, because like it's hilarious.
Somewhere.
The timing. No, the timing. Trying to channel my inner Haechan here. But it was announced on the 5th that Insung is going to be enlisting in the military from SF9, who I think Insung's the oldest member of SF9, if I remember correctly. So they're starting their enlistment time now for this group. It was also announced in the same statement. I believe Youngbin is going to be announcing his enlistment as well soon. So, but it sounds like Insung's going off into the military mid-March. So it sounds like SF9 is about to start rolling out their enlistment kind of time now too. So it sounds like it might be kind of like as needed, because I mean obviously a lot of them are involved in like dramas and stuff too, so because I mean it's kind of like, again, it's weird that they're like a group more known for like their acting prowess than their like music, because a lot of them have been in K dramas, but Yeah, it'll be very. These all need to like go in bubbles or something too, and not go out and cause trouble at this point too. It's like especially Young and Johnny. Oh, let's move on to something happier at least. At this point, I don't know what else to say about
SF9.
On to
like from COVID or like stupid like people breaking breaking
rules, down doors,
military. So what's going on? What's going on in the other end of the?
In happier news, that actually I think we'll be doing
ding 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 or whatever, like the wedding bells or like they're gonna play.
I can't do wedding bells. I'm not doing the wedding march either. Thank you, Jenny. It was announced back on I think they announced this back on the 3rd
February
on Instagram.
3rd, yeah. Instagram.
Yeah, at Instagram they announced on Instagram, which I love the fact they announced it on Instagram. They totally like. They completely broke the mold and like how to announce, like, because usually people announce like long letters, like I apologize to the fans that we're gonna get married. They're like
the agency does it for them,
right?
Which I did not hear. Yeah, I did not hear P Nation like saying like confirming any news. They just like just let them like this is not gonna announce their engagement.
I love Psy for this so much.
Yeah, he's really chill. He was really chill about this. Like
he's so chill with all of his signees to his label. But it was announced that Hana and Dawn, one of our favorite couples in K-pop, are going to finally get married. They are they are a K-pop power couple. They are going to finally get married after 6 years of dating. They've been dating since 2016, I think.
2016,
because they've been public since 2018 because I was in the whole debacle with Cube happened. And Cube was like, yeah, no, y'all can't date. And they're like, yeah, you think we can't? We're gonna leave. So they left. But yeah, they announced it on Instagram with matching rings, which I'm not gonna lie, I love the rings.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, we could talk all day about the rings,
Oh my god, we don't have about the rings, but go ahead and explain how they announced it, because I love the way they announced it.
Yeah, because I saw it, when I woke up, I saw it on Instagram, and I saw like those rings from like it was first came from like Don. So he posted like pictures and videos of like their them holding hands with like matching those colorful matching rings, and then he put a caption where he tagged Hyuna and like marry me with like a blue heart. And then after that, it was Hyuna's turn to repost the same pictures and video, and responded on her post. Of course, it's a yes. So, those are like pretty much like confirmation. Like they can't be like making it up, or like like they can't be just like them just like pretending they're getting engaged. But it's like it feels like full implication by fans. Like oh yeah, they're engaged. That's a sure way. That's a surefire like thing to announce their way on Instagram. So a lot of people were congratulating them, and it was like Twitter was like exploded with like the trending, and like I saw that trend. Like I was surprised with Twitter, and it was like everyone was like, oh my god, love is real. Like I believe in love again. So it's it's going down to a lot of like happy reaction from like the fans.
I mean, they're like I said, they are the power couple in K-pop. I mean, especially because like
they broke the mold. They paved the way in terms of like when it comes to relationships and and especially with K-pop idols.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of agencies. I mean, that's the whole reason why they had to leave Cube in the first place, is because Cube has a very strict like no dating policy, especially between label mates. And I mean, Dawn and Hana were, like I said, they were secretly dating for like 2 years. I mean, because Dawn is a former member of Pentagon. Hana at that point, I think was she doing solo work? I think under Cube.
I think
or I don't was know she still in Part of 4 Minutes?
Yeah, and then I think before Pentagon debut, like they already met up and became like closer down in training. And I think it was during like the Triple H where like there was like some kind of obvious signs of like like their relationship coming up front. Like didn't Cube not see that, because when they chose, or when like they put like a lot of like making out scenes with Hyuna and Dawn in like in the Triple H videos, like they didn't like think like wait a minute, there's something going on between those two. Wait a
Something's
minute.
fishy here. But yeah, no, I mean, I got into K-pop after they had left Cube, so like I kind of missed the whole like scandal of them like leaving Cube, or basically getting. It's like I don't know if it was them leaving Cube or they getting basically kicked out of Cube. I've heard both
Tabby
ways.
gave me like a lot of those info, before when I got into K-pop. Like it was like the Hyuna and Dawn, and it was also like the Kai and Jenny dating thing in 2019. So like,
I remember the Kai and Jenny story because that was like, oh, they're dating. Oh, they're not dating all of a sudden because like they had been dating for a while secretly.
Oh, they're dating. Oh,
and then it went public, and then they're like, oh yeah, they're not dating anymore because they went public basically. It's like just let them live, let them live, especially because at that point, and because Jenny's part of Blackpink and Kai part of XO and Super M and all these other groups, and obviously we're solo work now too, and just like. Yeah, let them live. Like, let's let them be. But I mean, it's got to be hard dating in the industry, period, especially with their schedules and stuff. But I mean, they've made it work for 6 years, and like they're very open about their relationship.
After years of receiving backlash and getting kicked out of their label, like it's an admirable relationship. Like seeing them being strong about it, and they still took care of each other, and like it's such an admirable thing to see throughout those 6 years. It's like, man, we should have those kinds of relationships with our significant others, no matter how tough those situations are throwing at you. They're still their love is stronger than. Their love is stronger than most.
They truly are relationship goals, like hashtag relationship goals. They really truly are in my mind. So I just really do admire them, and like I said, the fact that they both were allowed to come to decided to sign them both under P Nation. They're both doing solo work under P Nation.
Doing
Dawn got to do his solo track.
Together.
Yeah, they've done stuff together. They've done stuff solo separately. Kasai's been pretty. He's a pretty laid back a producer and CEO of his record label and stuff. So because I mean he's also the label mates with Jessie, who's one of our favorite obviously hip hop artists as well. I think that I have to remember watching one of the show interviews with Jessie. I think Hana was on it too, and I know just the two of them were going back and forth talking about Dawn, and it was kind of funny actually.
The roast hour bit with Dawn.
Pretty much, it turned into that. And poor Dawn probably off camera, just really you too.
even some shows too. I think it was Knowing Bros. So I think they were the first ones to invite the couple together. And then even Amazing Saturday years later, so it's so nice to see them see them being so a lot of people being accepting towards the relationship, and them they're really chill about it.
Yeah. So I will say this though, the rings are nice. They're custom made rings. Apparently, they went through. So opals and 7 diamonds. And they're
colorful diamonds,
gorgeous. And they're both custom made. The jeweler said, "I'm never making these again. They are custom made."
No, only Dawn. The signature Dawn and Hyuna rings. So they're made for them.
They're made just for them.
But I think there's gonna be some carbon copies by other rings because
I know there'll be knockoffs.
Knockoffs, yeah.
There'll be knockoffs, but I'm happy the originals go to them, and I know apparently I think the jeweler on Instagram was yeah, this cost I think a year's worth of salary.
Yeah, because I think people were saying, well, those rings look tacky or cheap. It was no, those rings are equivalent to a year's rent. And she even hashtag love isn't cheap. And, it's also
because I think it was real opal, so opal's expensive.
Yeah, and it's not those typical engagement rings where they're smaller and simpler with this a white diamond and all that. But it's such a a signature aesthetic with Hyun and Donna's already fashion sense, it really perfectly suits them, as a couple, because they have a lot of clash, color clashing type of fashion sense and their style. It's it's kind of almost a trash fashion, which I don't want to describe it as, but it's they made it work. And then the rings really added to their they're kind of their style together.
It's a very eclectic.
It's really perfect.
They have a very eclectic style, I will say. Their fashion sense is very eclectic. And it definitely fits that eclectic kind of style for them. So it fits. It totally fits. But yeah, no, I seriously, major props to the happy couple. Can't wait to see wedding photos because I know that the wedding is going to be eclectic as hell too.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Like it can't be just like this regular white like in black gown. No, they're kind of like
it's not.
something.
Nope.
And I think they're gonna make it public too because they're really such a public display. They're really such a public couple when it comes to like showing their affections.
Yeah.
Oh, who's gonna get invited?
Very interesting to see. It'll be very interesting to see who's all going to get invited to this wedding too. So yeah,
I hope Cube is not so petty. Like no, you can't go to the wedding. Pentagon's not going to the fucking wedding.
I know, right? I'm like, please let the Pentagon members go.
Yeah,
I know he still talks to them. So
yeah, how's things going in Cube?
Sorry, we've already noticed. We've already mentioned our multiple issues with Cube. They still have issues. Anyway, moving on. But let's move on because we could talk all day about our favorite power couple. We still have a couple more news stories, and we got to get to our list.
Wishing them a long and happy, like life together.
Yes, yes, exactly. So many, 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 many years of happiness for them. So, but we get from some big wedding news to probably the biggest comeback. It's going to be happening in 2022. I'm not talking BTS because. And people might complain to me because it could be BTS, but no, this is probably bigger than BTS.
Big.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm talking big, and I mean big because it's Big Bang.
Before BTS is
before BTS, before EXO even.
Yeah,
is Big Bang, and
the Big Bang of K-pop. They're literally the Big Bang of like K-pop, like because they really exploded into the scene. And really like took K-pop by storm, and like a lot of like people are getting to like got into K-pop because of Big Bang. So
yeah, a lot of the second generation, I feel like a lot of the second generation stans got into K-pop because of Big Bang, and either have stuck it out and rode it out, or like have stuck it out and potentially kind of like fell off and now come back a little bit. I'm not sure. I've seen multiple trajectories on K-pop standom here from like people who've known about K-pop since the second generation. But yeah, Big Bang was like the boy group of the second generation. Like they were the bad boys of the second generation. Wild, crazy. I mean, they were like YG. They were the reason why YG like shot up and became part of the big three. Honestly, like they're the main reason why YG has the success it did back in the day. And it's been 4 years since Big Bang's had a comeback because of Enlistment and because of Scandal, mostly because of Burning Mocha and their former member.
We don't talk about song. No.
Who's now apparently not getting prison, which I'm kind of mad about. But anyway,
well, anyways,
we're not here talking about him. But we're talking about the other four members of Big Bang basically come back. But yeah, it was announced kind of in a joint statement because it was like a twofer on the statement. It was announced that Big Bang's going to come back with a new song this spring, like complete with a music video and everything. Doesn't sound like it's an album. It just sounds like it's a song, like a one-off song.
Really?
So yeah, it just sounds like it's like a song or a single. It doesn't sound like it's an album yet.
So like they're going to shoot up to like, millions with like just a single. I mean,
I feel I know an album people would go gangbusters for though. I know that. Because people have been wanting an album for a long time. I mean, heck, the last comeback was Flower Road in 2018, which great song. Go check it out. Because that was kind of like their send off before they went to the military. And so I love how people are speculating like what the like next song is going to be. If it's going to be like a party anthem or what it's going to be now, considering everything that's happened in the last 4 or 5 years since Flower Road. But it was also announced too, though, in the joint of like, Big Bang's coming back as a 4-member group. That one of the members, TOP, has actually left YG Entertainment. He's terminated his contract with YG. Although he's still after a long time, 16 years. And it hasn't been announced that where he's signed to another label yet. I haven't heard where he's signed to yet. Because I figure that'll be big breaking news when that's announced. But he's still going to be promoting with Big Bang when his time allows and when his schedule allows. But he's no longer under YG's control and basically anymore, which has been I've noticed a lot with a lot of these older groups. Like that's been kind of becoming the norm now, where they've kind of go their separate ways, but they can still kind of come back and do their own thing.
At least the labels are like allowing them to like you still work with their groups. And I thought like I kind of thought back then that once you're out of like this label you can't work with like the groups anymore or something like that. At least they give them a chance like yeah, sure you can like come in for like work with the group under like certain conditions. But at first I kind of sad reacted to like the news, and then I realized like wait a minute, like why is such a shit company anyway? So like he's gone scot-free, so he's like good on you, Top.
Also because like well, we all joke about YG's Dungeon because God, everyone's been like YG's Dungeon this last year, because I feel like nobody's had anything come, because even like I don't think YG had anything come out last year. I think the only thing we had was an Icon single.
And also there's some Blackpink solos from Rose and Lisa.
And like that's it. Like it's like even Treasure didn't really have anything come out last year, and like that's their big fourth generation group right now is Treasure. And now who's finally having a comeback. FYI, next week.
YG just realized like, oh wait, we should like promote our groups this year. So like there's like rumors about Blackpink coming back probably because Jesus kind of hinted at it. Treasure like their comeback. I don't know when it's gonna be. I don't know when exactly will Treasure be, and also like now
Treasure's coming back next week. Treasure's coming back literally next week, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So
I've been seeing previews already. I've been seeing previews on my YouTube for like their comeback. So, they're coming back very soon because they haven't released anything new in a long time. That's not been Japanese. Yeah,
last year.
Like it's last year. Because that was the one thing too. We were like after Kingdom is like, why is Icon? Like Icon was the only group that did not release anything new after Kingdom, and every group has released one, if not two albums since Kingdom. Since then, and Icon's just kind of quiet, although there's been rumors and speculation that Icon might be quietly ending. I don't know if that's true or not, which is kind of a shame considering their storied history with YG as well. But I think after the whole BI scandal, they kind of didn't know what to do with them, I think is what happened, unfortunately. But YG just kind of, I find they just run things kind of strangely at YG.
I don't know how like they're like I don't know how like they're managing like their groups, but even so, like people will still eat it up. When it comes to Blackpink, like like when Blackpink comes back, it's gonna be like gangbusters with YG. So it's like
I'm waiting for this Treasure to come back to just blow up. I'm honestly waiting for that because I know it's going to. Because I know Tunes have been just
Big Bang
clamoring for a new comeback.
Blackpink.
And I know this Big Bang one. I know VIPs are, again, the VIPs are just frothing at the mouth for this.
Revive. You're like coming out of the grave.
Pretty much, it's just like coming out of the grave. It's like we're back. But I know we'll be interesting too. Well, it's interesting too because I know TOP. Like I know for TOP, I think I don't think he wants to do much more music anymore. Too I obviously he still wants to do stuff with obviously his other three members, but I think he's been doing more like art stuff. Like he's been investing in art galleries and stuff, and doing more on the art side of things. And it's going to be very interesting to see where everyone else is going to go to. Because I mean, Taeyong has a family. Taeyong's married. So, and then I'm not sure what G-Dragon's going to be doing. G-Dragon's just, G-Dragon.
I don't know. Even I think I even saw some articles of Top's when it comes to his mental health too. Like he's had some kind of troubles with with his past as well. And he even had the exhaustion. Was I don't want to do music anymore or something like that. Like he said a couple of years ago. But now just to hear his response to him leaving YG, he said I'm happy. Like I'm happy. So I was like, I really hope like, with his decision, he has like, takes a break and, like enjoys life at its fullest.
Yeah, exactly. Like he can do what he wants to do because it sounds like he's like really liking like doing all this art stuff as of late, which totally can understand. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see there's some joy into that too. Finds the things that he gets to enjoy because I know he had some issues. Like he had an issue, I think a couple issues with like drugs in the past too, because I think he got busted for marijuana once or twice. I think pre-military, which marijuana is a big no in Korea. So. Yeah, I mean, they really not gonna lie, Big Bang does fit up to their bad boy image quite a bit. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen and what the future of Big Bang is going to be because I think isn't it rumored they were supposed to be at Coachella like in 2020 pre-COVID. And I'm not sure what their future holds now, especially now it'll be very interesting now that Top is out of the group or not out of the group but out of YG control. YG. So it'll be very interesting to see like for touring or for any of those kinds of purposes because that's going to be a whole nother like contract for like monetary purposes and whatnot. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But I'm not going to lie. I'm very interested to see. Go ahead. I'm very interested to see where this what this comeback is going to be, what it's going to sound like. Because I do like a lot of Big Bang stuff from the past. I mean, if you do want to go back in time in the Kpop time machine and go back to see what like the hot stuff was back in like say like the middle to late 2000s.
Oh yeah, even like early like 2010s too.
2010s, yeah.
Baby and Bang Bang Bang.
Thank you. Iconic songs. Seriously iconic songs.
Oh yeah, like before Gangnam Style, it was like Fantastic Baby. That was like the K-pop anthem back in like in the early 2010s.
Like 2000. Oh god, what was it? Bang 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 was like what 2008,
2015, I think.
2015. Oh god, I'm way dating myself here. I can't know my times anymore. But yeah, it's good. Good stuff.
Good stuff, and I can't wait for like a lot of like the newer K-pop like fans to like experience Big Bang, and hopefully they can explore more of like the older groups as well, and being able to appreciate like the foundations of the genre. So we should do a Wikipedia. I don't know if we've done that for Big Bang yet, but
we haven't done one for Big Bang. We really should do one for Big Bang.
We should do before they come back.
We should, like we did for Shiny. We should definitely do one for Big Bang. That's definitely one that's in my like bookmarks of like we need to do one for Big Bang because again, they were the kings of the second generation. So
yeah, I think they are the kings of K-pop. I think like that's what they're dubbed now or as.
No, they are truly royalty in K-pop. So let's get to our last two kind of breaking news stories because these actually like literally broke today, the 9th of February. Before we get into our Hoe Anthems playlist of for Valentine's Day. But yeah, we had a couple breaking news stories today that just kind of like caught us on the radar. And so these are just kind of quicker stories. The first one was that it was announced by JYP Entertainment that unfortunately poor Felix from Stray Kids is injured. He was diagnosed with a invertebral disc herniation. He went to the hospital and that's what the nurses or the doctors had diagnosed him with. And so they say it's not going to affect his day-to-day activities, but they are trying to make sure that putting pressure on his waist, but it is going to affect any strenuous activities. Unfortunately for Stays, that does affect, they do have a fan meeting this upcoming weekend that I know Stray Kids has been heavily promoting. So I have a feeling Felix is probably going to be sitting for a good majority of the fan meeting. So we'll see what happens with that this weekend. But I'm hoping for Felix to have a really speedy recovery because the herniated disc sounds horrible. And kind of back issue just sounds absolutely horrible because I know those can be kind of those sometimes turn into a chronic thing. So
hopefully he becomes careful with his condition as of now.
Yeah, so because I know they've had some minor injury kind of lingering too in Stray Kids, so we're wishing Felix the best. And then it was also announced today, too, on the 9th that Tableau from Epic High was diagnosed with COVID-19. This is a little concerning because Epic High literally does come back next week on the 14th with a new album. Epic High is Here Part 2 drops on the 14th. And they said that it's not going to delay the album. The album is still supposed to drop on the 14th. However, because he did test positive, and although everybody around him has tested negative since then, they've all taken rapid antigen tests. His members, the staff around them too, and nobody's tested positive, thankfully. They've canceled all their upcoming events as of now. So their promotion schedule's kind of been thrown out the window. Unfortunately, with the album comeback, which is kind of a sad disappointment because I know I've been really looking forward to this album coming out because we will be reviewing this next week on the show. I can tell you that right now.
And also, I was concerned because they're also having a concert pretty soon, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna recover since it's gonna be weeks away.
I'm pretty sure he'll be okay because I think the tour starts in a couple weeks, so I think he'll be okay. I have a feeling. I think it was gonna go like they were gonna have their promotion schedule for the album, and then I think the tour is gonna start right after that. So I'm still debating if I'm gonna go see them in Chicago. So, but hoping Tableau recovers from COVID. I should. It's a Saturday night. I might. I'm hoping Tableau recovers from COVID soon. Hope it doesn't throw their schedules off too crazily, especially with a comeback knocking on their door. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be talking about their new album, Epic High is Here Part 2 next week on the show, as well as a whole bunch of other, I know we have a bunch of music reviews next week, because next week, like on Valentine's Day itself, on the 14th, there's a lot of music coming out next Monday. No. So next week we'll have a ton of music for you next week to review. I can tell you that right now. Like, I feel like they all waited till like the middle of February to everyone to start dropping music. So I know we have some new albums, we have some debuts to start talking about. I don't know if you've heard of Tempest, which is it's a new boy group coming. It's a new boy group that's coming as Hanbin, who was previously on Island, who's previously a Big Hit trainee. He's in that group. And I've been watching some of their dance practices and stuff, and some of their preview stuff. Not gonna lie, they look really good, you guys. So, and they debut on the 21st, I believe. So, but I know Vivis, I think they debuted today, technically, after they recovered from COVID. Yeah, Vivis did, which I think has a couple of the former members of G-Friend in it. So I think we'll have to review them next week as well. But like I said, we're gonna have a ton of good, new music coming for you, because I feel like everybody and their mother has waited to wait for February to drop new music. So that's why we really don't have any music to review this week. A lot of stuff that came out was just a lot of singles, one-off singles. So that's why we really don't have anything music wise to review. So that's why I think we're just gonna get right into our playlist for Valentine's Day. Our Hoe Anthems, Thought Anthems, I guess, insert what you want to call it here. So, because we have a bunch of, Ginny broke this down. I think she broke this down amazingly. I want you to explain how you broke this down, because I think you broke this down amazingly into these different subsections.
Of course, because I was thinking about since some of a lot of the Hoe Anthems that I find in K-pop, there's a lot of spectrum when it comes to having that certain kind of theme or mood set to. So what I've done is I broke down into different categories. So the first one that we have is the Walk Walk Fashion Babies. This is the part where you hear music and then it feels like you're about to run down or walk down a catwalk and just do your show off your fashion type of type of thing. Also, it can also count as the Vogue type of mood that we want do a lot of poses that and do some death drops in the club. By all means, do so. So I don't know. If we should do our selections or what we have for.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and if you want to do. Yeah, we could do our selections in each category, and then then we can move on to the next category. So I don't want to hopefully confuse anybody with what we're talking about here.
All right, so like under the first category of the Walk Walk Fashion Babies, we have this song that I have found from like when I was like scrolling around YouTube and like listening to a lot of like playlists. So this is from this group called K&K, or as like this YouTuber like pronounced it as Kink, because this song.
I don't think they're pronounced as kink. I think it's K&K, but that's kind of funny though.
I'm gonna say kink though. I guess that's what the guy is just like pronounced it as kink.
Oh, that kills me. Oh my god.
With the song Sunset, when I heard like when the bass drop for like that sunset, and I was like so ready to like go down and just do my only like those hand poses and all that, because that song is like such a club and such a like a fashion type of like setting that you can like strut your stuff and like do a lot of your like fashion display. But it's
very voguey. It's a very voguey song. I've listened to it myself. It's come up on my playlist a bunch of times, like especially when I was early listening to K-pop. I don't know why it would come up on my playlist, don't ask, but it would. I'm just like, it was like hit me whenever it come up, because especially with like how it starts, because I don't know who it is who has the really deep voice, that Sunset, and I'm just like, okay, hello
for you.
I know. I'm just like,
whoa. I was like that drop it when that beat drop with that Sunset riff. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna like it was like do a lot of like those poses. And it's really sexy too, like the whole song in general is it's really sexy, but it's also like you can also associate it with the fashion runway type of like theme to it.
Yeah, it has that like that very European like fashion week kind of style to it. So it definitely gives me those vibes easily, especially like you feel like you want to walk on the beach, like you want to start on the beach. Listening to this song.
If you want to show your like your suit, or like the one that you bought, you can like walk on the street and you have like that playing in your head. Sunset.
Yes. Pretty much. And then one of the songs I picked that really qualifies under Walk Walk Fashion Babies that came out this year is Hoshi's Spider, which definitely has again that kind of like European kind of style too. It has some with like tropical beats as well too, mixed as well. But I mean, when that bass really kicks in, right when it starts, like after the beginning, that kind of like almost xylophone introduction, and then that bass kicks in right after that. And then you're just like, okay, yeah, now I'm ready to vogue on the runway with this song. Like it's just, and then with Hoshi's just falsetto and that too, it really kind of brings it together. Just kind of is that like more modern European kind of boogie-ness to it.
Yeah, it's really sexy too, because like a lot of the things, even like the imagery that Hoshi displayed or exuded in this music video, it can like also like be some kind of LGBT theme like anthem as well, because he's made like performances and then his chemistry with like the female backup dancers and then even to the male backup dancers, it's really alluring. And it's like he could go either like of those genders. It's like, wow, it's like pretty sexy too.
Yeah. If you're also looking for any other like groups like the qualify under Walk Walk Fashion Babies, I say like almost anything under SF9 too will qualify under SF9.
This. Yeah,
we've said a lot of the times
stuff, but
you can qualify anything under SF9.
I was thinking of putting Trauma into it. Also like that that song Now or Never, or AKA
Now or Never
song. Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking of like putting that. Yeah, I was thinking of putting that.
I was thinking about putting Trauma, but then I'm like, God, that damn rap from Zuho, and I'm like, that just ruins it. Just absolutely ruins it for me. It just takes me out for that minute. I'm just
it's just 1 second of like, or that that
I know
couple of seconds of that, but it's still like the instrumental and even like the beat around it is really like it really drives into like that type of like aesthetic.
Yeah, it really does. So like, yeah, I mean, really highly recommend SF9 if you're like looking for something around that's like a group's aesthetic. SF9. So, but yeah, let's get into our next category of category anthems.
Yeah, so my next category that I came up with was called the Shake What Your Mama's. Oh, excuse me, shake what your Mnet mamas gave you, because if you want to like slither around and like, do like your snake dance, this is the category to do it.
No, we're not saying Mnet's a snake, but we're saying Mnet's a snake. Anyway.
Another ripping on from our Mnet like snake jokes, but it's like something that you would probably get down to and like like do your own like sexy dance and like and a sexy dance and like show out your your sexy moves. So what I have here is a very like an obvious choice for that type of like category. If you guys haven't heard of EXID, or as I pronounce it, Exit, you guys really should look into them, because a lot of their stuff are like very like seductive, and it's like it's really upbeat too. It's very seductive, and it's like it's also like you can like get down and like shake into it. So I have here like 3 songs from Exit.
A lot of fun, flirty, just fun songs to dance to. Easily with EXID, especially the first song that you're about to talk about, Up and Down.
Yeah, Up and
which
Down.
Which is probably their best well-known hit song.
The most well-known. Yeah, the most well-known. Because everyone and their mom is in K-pop industry are like, there was a trend back then, them doing like the Up and Down dance. Even BTS's Jungkook was doing that as well.
I love that video of them doing it on Weekly Idol. I remember them doing that at Weekly Idol. Also, Namjoon making a fool of himself, or RM, making a fool of himself dancing to that and looking like the inflatable waving arm flailing tube man.
The dad of like BTS doing a lot of dad dance, but
sorry,
Up and Down.
That man's clumsy.
Yeah, Up and Down has like a really jazzy thing into it, like a jazzy element, like because it has like the brass horns that that's like the main riffs of the song. And even like their other like minimalist type of like comeback songs with DDD, it's such a like it has like a groovy drive into it, and it really like tempts you into like doing a lot of like like dances too. Even I Love You as well, I also like included that under Exit.
I really like I Love You. Like I think Up and Down and I Love You are like 2 of my favorite songs of theirs. When I was starting to get into K-pop, like I was actually listening to a lot of like second into third generation stuff, and Exit would come up quite a bit, even though Exit was really relatively underrated as a late second generation girl group, which kind of is a shame, because I know like nowadays like people look at them back and be like, oh my god, these girls were amazing, but back in the day they were not barely getting any looks and stuff. I think it's finally when they had Up and Down, like that was like their breakout hit, and they had been anything on the scene for quite a few years when Up and Down finally came out, and that's when they finally started kind of going off on their career, kind of like Brave Girls a little bit as of late, with their song when Roland kind of came back around and blew up for them. And so Exit is definitely like one of those underrated second gen groups, but have some really great dancey moves. Dancey songs.
Those are the more upbeat, type of like, fun songs that you can like dance to. And you would like move on to like the darker, like kind of like a dance core.
The darker side here with the boy groups. Yeah, the darker with the boy groups here. Because I don't know why I decided to do this and torture myself, because I decided to do that.
I know. I've been listening to the group too, with like their songs.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the one that's not. Well, they're both. What am I saying? They're both painful. The first one I'm going to talk about, and we talked about this a little bit on our last episode when we talked about Only One Of, with their comeback. But this is their comeback before their previous one on Instinct Part 1, and the title track of that song of that album, Libido. Which remember when this came out, like broke K-pop Twitter, because everyone was like, "Whoa, wait, what is happening?" Because the video itself is very suggestive, like super,
like
super,
boy love suggestive.
It's very boy love suggestive. There is a BDSM suggestibility in there.
Choreography.
Yeah. There might be some things involved with leashes. Just gonna point that out right now, and some crotch grabbing. But besides that, I mean, there's the song in itself is still like has this very like sensual kind of seductive vibe to it, but it's still something you could get down and like kind of dance to. Like it's something you just kind of want to get down and like groove. Like you kind of want to like kind of go down low to the ground and kind of groove too. Kind of grind, yeah. It's kind
like,
of a
like
grinding kind of song.
dance, like them, like with the knees thing on the ground,
on the knees on the ground, yeah.
the crawling, crawling, that like that kind of dance move.
Yeah, I'm like I said, we both were surprised that choreography was allowed on Korean TV on the music shows. Like that did not get banned somehow, because it's very suggestive. But yeah, it was. It's one of those songs that's just like came out of nowhere. I mean, like I said, I mean, big props to them that they're still kind of keeping up with this kind of like I like these vibes even with their last album, because it's something really kind of brave, and you got to kind of like kudos to you guys for keeping up with this, especially with their last comeback here with Skins. So yeah, if you want something like definitely like more on the seductive dancey side, check out Only One of Libido. The other song I had to throw on here for Shake What Your Internet Mamas Gave Ya that was a little bit more on the dancier, sexier side for this group is from 80s, which obviously are my boys. But this I think has to be their sexiest comeback title track that they've had in their history, although God damn it, they keep teasing that they want to have something even sexier, which this already broke the fandom once. I can't imagine anything even sexier because that would just completely destroy the fandom at this rate. But I'm talking about Deja Vu, which came out last August. And I mean, for them, I mean, it's definitely a bit of a drawback from like their more noise. And it's more, I guess it's more on their dancier side of things. And as my roommate is just peering around the corner here, luring, because I'm talking about Deja Vu, because that is the song that lured her into becoming an A-titty. But I'm just lost train of thought. But no, it was one of those songs that's just like when I first like when they were first teasing it and stuff, and like they were teasing the choreography and teasing the instrumentals, I was like, wait, this is the sexy side of 80s? Like, okay, I'm bored for this because it
still retains like the signature style of 80s, like the really like noisy type of EDM too, but they still made it like very very seductive as well. Yeah,
it's real back noise because it's not like as noisy as like some of their other songs are, like say Wonderland or like Say My Name or something like that. Or Holla Holla, but it's kind of more real back in noise, and it just has this like element to it that it definitely makes you want to dance, especially with the choreography to it. God damn that Woosan moment at the end. But especially seeing that live on stage.
Even the Yo song, like the hip like swaying as well, like that really like set like this really that its like status as like a really sexy 80s song.
Yeah, I will say this is the song that officially established that Yosan for me is like somebody I need to worry about on my bias list.
I know, like, I'm getting disappointed because he's getting into the whole line of 80s. So like I thought I would tolerate him, but he's turning into the dark side.
No, it's because he's been working on way too much with San, and yeah, that's kind of dangerous because they've both been working on the living room too much, and yeah, God, just lethal. It's very lethal. Still really respectfully, but yeah, no, it was one of those songs like just like it really, when it came out, it just like it caught me off guard, and. And also the day it came out, another song on this list decided to drop its music video the same day. So as a fan of both groups, basically ruined that whole entire day for me. And I'll get into that later. But yeah, it was Deja Vu is just like one of those songs, especially because it definitely is on the sexier side of 80s sound. And it's something that I think it's something you could get down and groove to because it's something you just kind of want to just like kind of slink to. It just has a like kind of slinkiness. to it, for lack of a better description, I guess. So, oh, deja. Yeah, but anyway, but let me move on away from me completely destroying my brain because of Yosan's freaking abs, and let's move on to our next category before that. So, Jenny, take it away.
Yeah, for our next category, we have the Make Love Non-Funk. That is euphemism for the F word because, I'm trying to keep it PG. No, I'm kidding. For the Make Love
Let's
Non-Funk.
keep it PG? No.
Have we not been like a PG podcast?
No, I'm kidding.
So that's for the Make Love Not Funk. This is where we get to like the more gentler, like the more sensual side of the Hoe Anthem. So it's not like the it's like the type of like songs where you can get into like a romantic mood with your significant other. It doesn't have to be like the freaky type of like like activity that you guys you would partake in, but it's more like the sweeter side. In the bedroom, get down in the room, but it's more like the sweet side and like the more more of like a classic R&B like groove into it. And a lot of like these selections come from SM because they master in such sounds like the R&B. So like my first selection that I have here would be Red Velvet. So I had picked two songs from them. One is from their debut song called Be Natural, and and the other one would be Perfect 10. The Perfect 10 is a bit more poppier and more of like, using more of like an EDM sound, but it's like really slow and it's really like, really like a slow jam that you can like, groove or like, be, set the mood with your significant other. I really like the Be Natural because it has like more of like the jazzy side of, Red Velvet's, discography, and it's really like it's really groovy as well, and it showcases a lot of genres like for K-pop, and like we should like have more of like these like brass instrumentals with those, and it's really like it's really like it's almost like classy too, when it comes to like that it's kind of like style.
Yeah, there's this like I like Be Natural a lot too because it really goes on to like that really like super R&B. Because like the cool thing about Red Velvet, because again they have the two different sides. Like they have that poppier side, and then they have that R&B side to it. And like Be Natural is like super R&B. Like they really like came hard on that R&B side with that song. And yeah, Perfect 10 kind of like blends it better. Like you could definitely tell like the growth from like Be Natural to Perfect 10, because Perfect 10 kind of has like that nice blending of their two sides, I think, together.
Yeah, it's more pop and it doesn't really use that much of like the brass instrumentals, but it's really still like very playful and very like like allure, really like it really attracts you into like that kind of like mood. So from moving on from Red Velvet, I have picked Shiny. I know we mentioned a lot of Shiny songs from both Taemin and Jonghyun back last year with their songs. I have one song in particular, which is probably one of my favorite songs from Shiny, which is called Hoiiday. Man, you guys should watch like their live performance, because like they really got down with like that type of R&B like flavor. Because whenever like they get into like the chorus like on you, my eyes on you, they were like grinding it. They were grinding with like their dance choreo. So I really recommend you guys watch their live performance, because it's really it's really sexy, but it's also like getting into like the classy. It still like has a classy taste when it comes to their R&B, and they're really great when it comes to like R&B and like more of like the retro side of music.
Yeah, there's something like super throwback R&B to Hoiiday, but yeah, like I think I've seen like one of the stages for Hoiiday, and there is something to behold. Like go find a YouTube video of it. It's just like again of our OT5 Shiny always 5 Shiny. It's something to behold, especially with Hoiiday.
Right. Oh yeah. And so moving on from Shiny into more of like like it's more bordering on the sexier side, but it still has like the class into it, would be Baekhyun's Bambi, which was out. It was like last year. It really like took the K-pop world by storm because of like his final song before he got enlisted to the military. So that was really like that really like such a it's such a like a tempting song, but it's also like also groovy with its R&B. And yeah, not gonna lie, I was like kind of like like getting really like with with Baekhyun, because he's really like pushing it with me with his solo songs, and that one really took the cake. But I think my favorite one, other than yeah, sorry, you were about to say something.
No, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna throw both of these on like my recommendations too, because these both are like yes, and especially like that sensual side of R&B. Especially when we first were listening to him last year. I mean, that's the reason why I think this album is both like on our top 10 last year. Both Bambi and this next song, All I Got.
Oh my God! Like
go ahead.
No, it really worked. It's just, I think like that R&B side, because it really worked when it comes to Baekhyun's falsetto. It was like Bambi, Bambi. Yeah, it really like gets into like that mood, and it's very like it's very powerful in that kind of minimal aspect. But you were about to say something about with All I Got.
Yeah, no, there's like when All I Got, like it takes almost that sensuality almost to another level with that song. Yeah,
it's like a scenario where it's like a scenario where you wanted to like make your significant other feel better, or if you guys have like some kind of fight. This is like a great song for you to like let me talk to you, baby, and kind of like try to like say your apology and like make it more powerful and meaningful. Just put on that song just to like say your apologies, and then
it's a great makeup song.
Yeah, it's a great makeup song. and try to test out your voice level, and then when you get to like the high part with Baekhyun, like
because like we can't even get to that falsetto level that he can get. He can achieve that really high falsetto. Like
that was a Mariah Carey type of like falsetto. Like it's okay. I can't do that. I'm gonna break my throat.
Let's not break your throat, Jenny. But yeah, I mean, both of these songs, like and I really like think of like that R&B sensuality kind of sound immediately into K-pop. Like my mind immediately goes to Baekhyun and goes immediately to these two songs. Goes to Bambi All I Got. Like immediately, like
Bambi is the one where you want to like. Yeah, if you want to get like really like romantic with your partner, put on Bambi. And if you want to get like if you want to make up have like a makeup type of setting with your partner, put on All I Got.
Yeah, pretty much.
You'll be forgiven when you play All I Got. It's like you're forgiven.
Yeah, pretty much. Like immediately forgiven. Can't guarantee that though, but we're gonna try. But let's get into our, I guess. Is it second to last category, maybe?
Second final of the spectrum for K-pop Hoe Anthems. Okay, I don't know how I can explain this, but you probably get the idea with the category name 50 Shades You're Freak On. So
yeah, you can kind of guess where we're going to go with these ones. I have a feeling, right? Yeah, you also might know one of the songs we're going to talk about here, because we've talked about it quite a few times on this show, because it's just forever playing in my brain.
Yeah. Let's go on to the songs. You got the idea. Let's go on. We
get the idea.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jenny. You can start.
So the first two that I have here would be Hyolyn, who used to be from the group Sistar. Hyolyn, man, not just her like her powerful and amazing dance moves, which I am like really jealous of how she can like be so flexible with her with her body. But you guys should watch Dali, which is like I think her most famous song in her career. And her recent one would be Layin' Low, because those if you watch those videos, man, it's hard for you to like watch respectfully.
Just like that's
all I can say. That's all I can say. Like I don't know how else I could describe her the dance movement, and really like sets the mood. Like if you want to like do stuff with your partner, it's like
Yeah. You said it all. Like I can't like again the amount of quote unquote disrespect in those videos with her. Like ooh. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
Dolly is easily hands down probably like her most famous like solo track. But yeah, it definitely has like this very I want to say aggressive. It's not aggressive. It's very powerful. That's probably a better word. Powerful aura
Yeah,
to
it
it.
really exudes like like the downright sexy vibes, when it comes to healing. And
Yes.
it's even like a really great choreography from her own too. It's like it's like really impressive.
Really much is. It really, really is. So go ahead. Continue on.
Yes, and then my second one would be from Mino from Winner. I have here from Fiance. I think it's one of my favorite songs from his solo tracks. And it has like a more like aggressive style when it comes to like his music production, but it really drives into like this really like that really sexy type of like drive into it. Like
Yeah.
you can like if you want to play like some kind of like sex scene in like in a movie or something, you should play like Mino's Fiance.
Yeah, no, that's like it's usually exudes that kind of sexy vibe. Like it's
Aggressive
Mino has
and rough. No,
yeah.
I don't know how I describe it. Aggressive and
Mino
rough.
has he has a very distinctive rapping style. I've noticed. So like it's not for everybody, but it's I've noticed, but the songs I do like, 'cause I do like Fiance actually a lot. And yeah, it is one of those songs that's just like you're just like when it comes up on my playlist and I'm not expecting it, catches me off guard. No lie. I'm just like, oh, I'm just like slapped by it. I'm like, I'm not expecting this right now. I'm not expecting this amount of sexiness right now. Sometimes I just need to take a moment. Because this is that kind of aggressiveness.
Oh yeah. You can go on with your song pick too now.
Yeah, and one of the songs I had to pick, because we're kind of mixing it up in here, was one of the solo tracks actually released by the youngest rapper of Monsta X, I Am, last year on his first solo mixtape, Goddamn, which when that came out, I mean, the song itself is feels like it's like a drug fueled acid trip kind of situation in a way, especially in the music video. But when you break it down into the song itself, it has definitely like these undertones, like these almost like seductive undertones to it, like just kind of like in bed, and
like the kind of like like the really I don't know how to describe, but it's like some kind if you're going in a club and just like
right.
partaking like that polyamorous type of makeout sessions with a lot of people, that kind of like that kind of scenario. So I don't know, like I don't know how to like describe it best, but you know what I'm getting at. I hope.
Yeah, there's like it's almost like this very overwhelming kind of situation when like in a relationship, I guess, relationships, I guess, depending on what your vibe is, and it has that kind of color to it, and it's super. It is super seductive song and very it's very sensuous, and it's one of those songs where you're just like if you're like on like if you're really drunk or really high too.
It's almost like a drunk and then even drug induced type of like mood when it comes to when you listen to this song.
Yeah, very much so. Like it could be like almost like a drug infused, like I said, it could almost like be like an acid trip. Almost
right. We don't endorse acid, but if you want to like
don't
do
drugs,
something
kids.
that's like no, the drugs are bad. Okay.
But go ahead. I know you have one more, and then go ahead. I know you have one more, but I have one more, and then we have the last obvious one to talk about.
Oh God, no. Well, before we get into that, big ups to Sunmi because she's like a queen of like having like this like femme fatale type of
Yes.
like sexy, like dangerous type of woman persona that she had that she exudes in her in
Mm-hmm.
her idol career. Her recent one with Tail, that is like almost like the emphasis, or like the pure peak of like having these like that sexy vibe, and like almost like a
Yes.
Catwoman type of like narrative within her theme. So guys, check out Tail, like the music video, because it's super sexy, but it's also almost like a noirish type of vibe into it too. Because if you guys
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have like a more danger side of like of your of your hoisms, Sunmi is the one to like is the one to like go.
Also, just with all the allegories too, of like
Yeah, pretty much what
Catwoman
I have
in the
here.
music video. All the allegories. There's
Yeah,
so many
no,
allegories to
most
Catwoman.
definitely.
So
Like, oh
yeah,
yeah, most definitely.
it was
With the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman.
yes, exactly. So for sure one of those like kind of insane crazy songs. So like it was just absolutely mind boggling situation. It was just like the music video is something you need to go watch.
Yeah, even like the costume that she made is like really like Catwomanish style. Even like the lingerie and even like the leather straps and the cat mask. It's very,
Yeah.
it's going down there and like with that like that dangerous territory, but it's like super sexy at the same time and really a bit like classy as well, I can say.
Mm-hmm. I was also gonna say also her choreography too, like really emulating that
Oh
Catwoman
yeah,
kind of
the cat like
style.
the cat like movements, and even like having
Mm-hmm.
like the tail thing with like the
Yes.
backup dancer, that was really artistic, but it's really creative too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, very much so. So definitely up there in terms of like I think of easily one of the best, if not coolest, Hoe Anthems to come out of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hands down. My picks I picked, and that this is one of the B-sides that came out from New West, and this one really stuck with me after we listened to New West
Oh yeah, I remember
album
this
last
song.
year. You remember the song from
Yeah.
this was one of the solo tracks from their album Reminisce, and this is remember Baco and the song Need It, and because it comes out of nowhere, how like downright like sexy and seductive and sultry this song is. Like it
Oh
is
yeah,
like full on like in the bedroom kind of like
passionate, passionate.
very passionate
Yeah,
very sexy song, and it was not expecting this at all. Completely it just completely came out of nowhere. And
it's very like The Weeknd's Worth It, because it just sounds really similar
yes,
to it.
it very much is, and it's definitely in that similar vibe, and just caught me off guard because it was like one of those. It was one of those B-sides. It's just really just like, oh, okay, this is where we're going. All right, I was not expecting it, and it just stuck with me throughout all last year. Because like I said, if you've noticed the theme with like my picks, I basically picked a lot of stuff that came out of like 2021. I was trying to keep with the theme for my picks because I was trying to limit myself to like just 2021. Because I felt like we had a lot of like Hoe anthems come out last year.
Oh
So,
yeah, I have to like scroll back to see like what were the whole anthems for last year, because there's some like good ones, but I forgot. Like, and that one I sure forgot. I was like, oh yeah, why didn't I think about that?
yeah,
But I'm glad that you mentioned it though.
that one just, it stuck with me. It really just stuck with me in my brain. And I don't know why, it just did. It was just, especially with his vocals too in it, it's just like,
Oh yeah,
you want to really listen to it and you're just like, wow, like, holy cow. It really is
I
up
think
there
it's
in like
really
whole
I think
anthems.
it's really effective when it comes to like male voices, when it comes to falsetto, because it really drives
Mhm.
like the passion up to a new
Yeah,
level.
I think so. So, usually, yeah, Big Ho is needed from New West, off of their second album is definitely a Hoe anthem in my book. And I think we this is one I know we've talked about the song a lot,
We've
but this
talked
one
about we joked about it, we've roasted, kind of, yeah, on my part.
yeah,
Because we were trying to
but
we're trying to evade from like how downright like down and dirty that this concept was, thanks to Bang Chan and Hyunjin.
and the song we're talking about, of course, is Red Lights from Stray Kids, from their second full album, No Easy, which like, we've talked about the song a lot and we've joked about it and stuff too, but like, I mean, breaking it down, like, okay, like the song in itself, like you can dissect in multiple different ways because like they kind of leave it ambiguous. I love the fact they can leave it ambiguous. Like you could talk about like a love or like something that drives you that crazy,
dangerous
or like
type of like love or
dangerous type of
toxicity.
toxic compulsion, yeah. Whereas the music video decided to completely go 50 Shades on us. And
okay, did I mention that they got this from watching Venom? Because it's kind of like the kind of relationship that they got because of the relationship from like Eddie and Venom. It's like that kind of like the bad side and trying to stay good, but like it's like that bad side, like the symbiote, like influencing each other.
Where does the ropes into the chains come from then at that point?
I don't know where I saw that little tidbit where like they got it from Venom, but like that would be like a funny thing that you got inspired from. It's like, oh, like the symbiotic relationship between Eddie and Venom.
Oh my god! I mean, it would surprise me because Bang Chan's a nerd.
Most definitely. But how the heck can you get inspired by such a shitty movie?
You find ways. Oh my god! I just love the fact too, like because basically this, I'm not gonna lie. Well, we all kind of knew it was coming too because they definitely dropped a teaser for this, and we all kind of had an idea it was coming for Stays. And at that point, like the fandom was like, "Wait, what?" And then when the actual video came out, which I will let me note, they decided to drop the music video the same exact damn date that Deja Vu from 80s came out. So Stay Titty Nation, let me know out in the comments, like, did you all suffer like I suffered that day? Because that was a rough day. Between Deja Vu and Red Lights. Oh my god.
Do you know how much I sacrificed?
Oh my god. I swear to god, I'm sure Bangtan and Hongjin was like has had like a side chat and like laughing. That are suffering.
Chan was like looks embarrassed when he was reacting to it for the first time. He was like he was hiding himself in the pillow. It was like when it's starting, like
this is also the same man who hit himself in a pillow when his shirt came off during the last stage in Kingdom. So yeah, that makes about the same sense too. Although, you know, sure, you're all tied up.
I think Hyunjin was more confident, like reacting to it, like, yeah, you know, it kind of looks kind of a bit racy.
Oh no! There's a comment in the behind the scenes in the music video. He's like he was commenting because it's like he's like because he's like they have the crop tops, and he's like watch like comment like he's like I have like less and less clothes every year. How many clothes do I have when I'm 30? I'm like, sir, please don't put that image in our head. Like seriously, like please don't put that image in our head at all. I don't need that
forever.
ever. Oh my god. Yeah, no, let's just say that's one of those this is one of those songs in the music videos that's going to live down in basically K-pop history. It's kind of funny though. I've read through the comments, like they're like non-K-pop fans who've just like stumbled upon this video and are like, wait, what is this? Like this is K-pop? Like what?
Really, like we just like spammed like those kinds of gifs in our Discord chat. Like what the hell is this? I even show like the Venom Photoshop that I did. It's like
yeah, so I have friends who wonder why we're spamming that music video. You're welcome. Because it just forever lives rent free in my head for whatever reason. Yeah. Besides the fact it's an amazing song on top of it, like I still have to like give it out to like just Hyunjin's range on that song, because like he really gets to play with his range on that song, and just how freaking eerily seductive it is. It's a really eerily seductive song because it's like you do feel almost that toxicity in it. It's so it puts you on edge. It really just puts you on edge. And no, I'm not going into how Bangtan described edging. I'm not doing that discussion again.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot. Why'd you bring that up?
Because that also lives rent free in my head for whatever reason. Because the man is a dork. Let's just move on before I fall further into this hole. Oh my god. I can't.
We've gone past this. The storm is over. The hard part's over.
I know. We'll do the rough part. We just have a couple more to go. So go ahead.
Why'd you say rough part, man? Anyways, this is like we've gone to like the out of the storm. Now we're like getting into like the resolution of like this category. This one is like more of like a miscellaneous type of like category, which is bring your plus ones. This is the category where like we couldn't like really choose one for like a certain group, like and also like so many themes, and that it couldn't be like fit into like a category, or it's really mixed up under one group. Because like some of the songs I have for this group, it could be like this song could be like from like this one category, or like the other one could be in this other category. So I just made it into like, for certain groups with like so many like different themes of like Hoe Anthems under their songs. So the first one that I have here would be NCT 127's with their from their recent album Sticker. Some of their B-sides which I really enjoyed so much. So the first one I have would be Focus. This is the more of like the chill, like if you want to get cuddly with your with your partner, that could be like a great like way to set the mood and just have like kind of relaxing type of like romantic scene. So Focus is like very very soothing type of like groove into it. And Jenny, you also have like your own pick here from under NCT 127.
Yeah, which I didn't realize she had a whole bunch of picks from 127, because I picked one from 127 as well, and that was their from the repackage of Sticker, which was the lead single off of that, Favorite parenthetical Vampire. Because that almost kind of, I feel like, falls into a little bit of like the R&B for them. Like it's kind of into, I guess if I want to put it in a category, almost kind of in the make love not funk in a little bit for me. And for that sound, because I mean, and I will say this, like I said, I think it handled like that weird like whistling recorder thing better than Sticker.
Most definitely, it's like an improvement.
It's very much an improvement, but it also has just this very underlying, like very R&B sound all the way throughout. It's very sensual, all the way throughout. Just talking about like that, like that, almost like that eternal love, all the way throughout the song, and it's almost like heartbreaking in a way too. Like when you listen to it, especially with the with some of the vocals on it, and it definitely fits up in there for me for like a thought anthem.
Yeah, very emotional too when it comes to like the falsettos with Do-young and Jungwoo and Taeyo too. Yeah,
their falsettos really definitely get me, because they'll definitely hit me like right in the heart when they hit. So
good thing they weren't biting each other. Like they like have like the vampire marks, but they're like, that'll be like it'll be overboard when they have like some scenes of them like biting each other, like almost like kind of in hyphen in a way. But good thing we didn't like go there.
They didn't go completely like in how in hyphen's going with vampires. There's been a lot of vampires last year.
I know,
but also because I mean the vampire implied stuff too. But yeah, I mean it's just it was like, especially because some of the lower like registers too. Really, like Taeyeon's lower register, even Johnny's like lower register too.
Even like it's almost like a sleazy type of like vibe from like the rap line.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to like Taeyeon's rap, it kind of makes me feel dirty when I listen to his rap. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know. That's like how I describe it with Taeyeon's rap style.
I know how you feel. I know how you feel. I'm not sure how the audience feels, but I know how you feel.
Oh yeah, not to mention their first like dance choreo with Taeyeon, Johnny, and Jaehyun. I will not forget about that.
Oh God,
Jenny.
God, they're such dorks.
Anyways, like another song, which this is a perfect fit for like the walk fashion babies, because like that where you can strut in the runway with this beat, like this EDM like hero beat into it. We were talking about Love on the Floor. Man, that is a fashion theme, sexy like / Hoe anthem type of like
/ runway. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, it can also be like a club, dance too, because it's really like dancey. But
Mm-hmm.
even so, I could consider it sexy because they emphasize it further with their choreography on their live performance when they had like this floating like this platform where it like rotates around and it's almost elevated. And then the members from 127 are just like grinding it on the floor, like what the hell is this? I did not expect that kind of like dance choreo for this song. So that's when it like drove up into like the sexy Hoe anthem for this song. So, like I wish I could not see that. It didn't help with Johnny's like solo magic mic performance. So man, that 127 concert was like that was a
That was a
that was a
fever
whole nother
dream
level.
that's a fever dream in itself. My
And
God.
to think that the dream, even when the dream members, Sunshine and Shotaro and Wavy, like have showed up for those concerts, please don't give them ideas. I know
No,
Tennis
please
already
don't.
had his own type of like his freak level, but yeah, to like have Dream like and the new members watching it was like yay.
No, please not. Please no. Please don't. Oh
Eh,
God.
now, okay, from under like a category from the Bringer Plus ones, which I would probably like add this as called the Monster of the Hour or Monster of the Hour, because we jammed in a lot of songs by Monster X. We already did with I
Yeah.
Am, but yeah, there is a lot of selections that I could like pick from Monster X's song list that we condensed it into
Well,
like one. A lot
both
of
of
these
us
songs that
do.
I
Like,
yeah. The first song which before the first song which is a more of an older song, not it wasn't too long ago, but it was Who Do You Love featuring French Montana. This is before like BTS went on with their English English
mhm,
songs and promotions. Monsta X was like the first one to like cross into like the
really.
US and collaborate with a lot of like American artists and rappers. And Who Do You Love is such a very like almost like a dark club theme into it, and it's almost like a very like you can like include it with the movie Drive. It's like the kind of emotional like thing, but it's more
Mhm.
very like retro, retro wave type of like sound into it, and it really drives it there.
Yeah, it's a really good song. Like, definitely, I think this was like 2018, I think, when Foodie You Love came out. And definitely,
Hmm.
like, when I first heard it, because it's fully in English. So, like, if you want something like a K-pop that's fully in English, like, yeah, Who Do You Love is one of the really, really good ones
Yeah, the
out there.
K-pop
And
English tracks.
mhm, go
Yeah.
ahead.
And so the rest of the songs that I have are mostly from their recent album, which is No Limit, and
Hmm.
so I picked my favorite songs from there. So the first one being Autobahn. That it would be like a good like walk fashion type of theme because it's very like that Euro type of like
Hmm.
bass into it, and it's very like clubby and as well as very like can fit well into like the fashion runway show. Um,
Hmm.
and after that would be Got Me in Chains. I don't know where I could like put that for a category because it could either be like a walk type of theme, or it could be like the Shake What Your Mama's gave ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good mix of like that kind of like that sexy vibe, and it's like very like almost like voguish, but it's also like very like sensual with the pop like type of EDM sound.
Hmm.
And yeah, and we get down to like the more freaky side, or like the more like the 50 Shades type of like sound would be like the Mercy. Yeah, that one was like it could be like slow, but it's not like as in it is emotional, but it's very like it really gets into like a very passionate type of like mood when you listen to Mercy. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have for like the Monster X Monster of the Hour sad category.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think we both talked about like that album being so freaking ridiculously sexy. No Limit, like that caught us both off guard. Like that
Hmm.
was really like wow. Like because they almost went back true to form. Like because those were kind of back to the older style of Monsta X songs, which I really appreciated because I did miss it. And these songs definitely, they definitely fulfill like that kind of like almost like these different subcategories of hope/Hoe anthems that we've kind of established today.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of like, yeah, wow. Not I was like, wow, I'm like, Monsta X has got some sexy stuff. Like, obviously, like, I mean with IM's solo track, it was just like, whoa. And then
Or
as you
even
doing more digging into Monsta
even
X, it's like,
one like the
yeah,
former member Wonho as well. Like like
right.
we covered like Wonho stuff, like even like included him in the Hoe anthem like last year. So even his
Mm-hmm.
like his his style of like music is very like
Yes.
very sexy, and also is like very like club type of like, or like almost like a neon retro type of like beat into it.
Very much so. So yeah, definitely Wonho is definitely in that similar vein too. Like they all kind of share that similar brain cell, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, the monster
Essentially.
brain cell. Yeah, they have like an eclectic type of like really sexy type of like vibes. It can either be like
Mm-hmm.
clubby, or it can be like either like passionate, or it can be
Yeah,
like a retro type of like like vibe. So they're really
exactly.
good with with those.
Mm-hmm. They really are. So, but yeah, that's our updated Hoe anthems of 2022. I'm gonna have all these up on Spotify. I'm gonna make a massive playlist with all these songs on
Yeah,
there. You can
we'll
check out
put the
our
links up. Yeah, we'll put the
yeah,
links
we'll
up
put the
on
links up
SoundCloud and YouTube and Facebook. Most
exactly.
definitely.
And you can also check out our last year's playlist. Is also still up on Spotify. Has some of has stuff from all over the board. On that list too. So you can kind of, if you really want to get into the mood, you can definitely have hit up those playlists if you want something a little bit more, sexy for this Valentine's Day. But
Spice up
that
your
is
Valentines.
spice up your Valentine's Day with a little bit of K-pop here. But
It could be
yeah,
with like a
that is
partner, or it could be on your own. Either or.
however
It's
you
all for
want to spend
everybody.
the holiday. However you want to
It's
spend the
all for
holiday.
everybody.
So but yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Like I said, next week, like I said, like I feel like everybody and their mother's coming back towards the end of February here. I think we'll have to talk about the Viva's debut because like I said, they just debuted today. I haven't had a chance to listen to their debut yet.
Yeah, same here. I
Let's
need to
have
like check out like the and see how it is.
considering it has a couple members of G-Friend in it. I'm happy to see them actually being able to continue on. I know next week on the 14th, besides Epic High coming back, I know both Taeyeon, former member of Girls' Generation, as well as A-Pink have come back as well. Treasure has a comeback next week as well. So we'll probably be reviewing all of those next week on the episode. As well as any other breaking news coming through from the world of K-pop. Hopefully it's not as crazy as our news this week, but we'll see what happens. I know it just feels like I think more and more people are getting COVID as of late again. I'm hoping COVID cases are going down, but I feel like I've seen a lot of COVID cases happening as of late and delaying things, not just K-pop wise, but K-drama wise too, because I've seen a couple K-dramas get postponed because of COVID. Unfortunately, because I've been getting into K-dramas, especially me and my roommate.
Oh God,
as of late.
I wish we didn't though.
I know it's a time suck. It really is a time suck because I don't have enough time in the day. Also, like us to keep also out on the radar too, because I know I just saw this. For you, Jenny. Coming up later on at the end of this month too, we have comebacks for Stacy happening. B2B is having official comeback with 6 members officially. Or their first comeback as 6. Sounds like Gravity's having a comeback as well, finally. Since we were just talking about Monsta X, their brother group from Starship Entertainment. Gravity is having a comeback as well as a couple other debuts happening at the end of this month. This has been we've had a lot of, they have like 3 major debuts besides Viva's, who debuted just literally today, the 9th. We have the group Tempest, who is debuting, who I talked about earlier. They debut on the 21st, as well as the new group NMIX, which I believe is the new group from JYP. The new girl group from JYP.
It's also like a collaboration with like another thing. I forgot what they're called, but yeah, JYP and another label or some kind of like subgroup. But man, their teaser has been getting memed to death now. Like they didn't even debut, but like their teaser and their like the first impression is like really taking a lot of like the meme K-pop by storm.
Oh, I haven't seen the teaser yet. I might have to go check the teaser so I can see the memes.
Man, you should. Like I want to see your your reaction to it. Oh, because it's made like that teaser, like the music it was produced with dem joints from SM. You know, like if you hear that song like, incoming.
Oh
yeah, that's
no.
him.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to
sound.
listening to this off mic with you now. Oh boy. But I guess before I ramble any further, I guess Ginny, do you have anything you want to plug before we head on out?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook at Ginny Leano. So that's GINNYLEANO. You can check out my design stuff at Ginny Designs. So that is at Ginny Leano Designs on Facebook, Instagram at Ginny Designs, and all of my personal stuff, my personal pages will be linked under my bio stuff. Back to you, Jenny.
And you can find me, Jenny. You can find me over on Facebook, facebook.com/Jenny Matasek, Jenny with an I, Matasek. You can find me also over on Twitter and on Instagram at Chaos Bulldog. You can also find the show pages for the Noonas podcast over on Instagram and on Twitter at Noonas_podcast. Don't forget that underscore. You can also find the audio version of our show over on SoundCloud. Just make sure to check out our SoundCloud version on soundcloud.com/Noonas podcast, all one word. You can also check out the video form of our show, which is now on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for the Noonas podcast over on those platforms. We do link it through our Twitter and our Instagram, usually every week as well. Also on our personal pages as well. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. We're always looking for some interaction with you guys. Just to hit us up on the socials. As well as check out our Spotify playlist for this episode. We're going to link it on all of our accounts for the Noonas podcast. You can also check out our past playlists as well over on Spotify. Just make sure to check out our Spotify link. And you can check out our Spotify past playlists as well. But yeah, like I said, this has been another episode of the Noonas podcast. Hoping you get down and dirty for your Valentine's Day. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Y'all do what y'all want to do for Valentine's Day. I'm apparently going to be eating pizza and watching nerdy stuff with my boyfriend. So that's my Valentine's Day, but that's fine. That's how I want to celebrate it. So, hey. But yeah, no, it's now we're getting into the heart of things now with all these comebacks. So this will be fun. This is going to get interesting.
So please pray for us.
Also, us really need to start doing some Wikipedias because we got a lot of Wikipedias we should really start doing too. So,
oh yeah, of course,
we should really start doing those. But until the next time, y'all, fighting,
peace and love.